After months of behind-the-scenes talks, the joint opposition team has taken off. The National Super Alliance's first outing was in Bomet County, the hometown of Governor Isaac Ruto, who NASA is wooing specifically to drive its assault on the vote-rich South Rift region.
Sisi kama NASA tuna dawa ya kutibu ugonjwa ambao inadhuru Kenya.
Lakini sasa tumerudiana tena mpaka tuokoe Kenya bila kujali nani anabeba bendera, watu wa Kenya ndio wataibeba wao wenyewe.
While the four key players in NASA are expressing confidence of a win in August, the challenge remains on how to settle on a joint candidate to face President Kenyatta in the polls.
They know, or they ought to know, that if they go different ways, they will perish. They have got to hang together for better or for worse, because this gives them a fighting chance.
At the moment, Odinga is seen as a first among equals in NASA, owing to his vast political experience, popularity, and a solid support base. For political scientist Mutahi Ngunyi, the NASA lineup is a done deal.
The NASA candidate is one Raila Amolo Odinga, period. Similarly, the running mate is Musalia Mudavadi, period. With Raila and Mudavadi, NASA will recreate the winning coalition of 2007.
However, it's a delicate balancing act to avert a fallout that would play into Jubilee's hands.
Even when you have what appears to be a first among equals, you must govern yourselves by a very sober reading of the situation. It's not unlike football, which Raila Odinga likes using as an analogy, that when we know that you are the star striker and we know that you are very heavily marked, then we have got to explore other options if we have got to emerge victorious.
A 12-member coordinating committee has been set up to craft the NASA structure and work on the coalition's election agenda, but the committee's principal assignment is coming up with a winning formula that will wrestle power from Jubilee.
Their only option, because there are no other options, is to remain together. Whoever their committee is going to come up and say this should be the candidate.
There is a school of thought that favors the 2013 lineup that had Odinga as the flag bearer with Musyoka as his running mate. This means Mudavadi would have to shelve his ambitions, with Wetangula being urged to focus on the Bungoma governor's seat. Critics of this pair claim it would be easily beaten by Jubilee, more so with Odinga as the presidential candidate.
Who tells Jubilee that they will naturally beat Raila if he has got their entire support? If the Jubilee team focuses on NASA and say this is the candidate that we would prefer, they might discover that they are walking on a slippery road.
There is also the possibility of a Mudavadi-Kalonzo pair or vice versa. This would force Odinga to play the kingmaker role and declare either of them tosha like he did in 2002.
They would bring something fresh. That would be the unknown factor. And the unknown factor in politics can be very, very tricky for the political adversaries.
If NASA does not make Raila its candidate, Raila will boycott the election, in my view. He has already told us that this is an option.
It is highly unlikely that NASA will unveil its lineup before April, this strategically to lock in the four hopefuls and make it difficult for any of them to bolt. This could be a double-edged sword for NASA.
The Kalonzo scheme, therefore, is very simple. Abandon NASA, accuse Orengo of rigging Raila in as a NASA candidate, then run as president under Wiper with the intention of denying NASA the Kamba vote. And as a result, NASA loses the election. And like in 2007, Kalonzo is rewarded with a big job. This time not as vice president, but as prime minister under Jubilee. Either way, he wins.
Probably are underrating him when we think that he's going to bolt. In any case, bolt to where? He has no choice. None of these people has a chance of survival if they bolt. Zero. Zilch.
Francis Gashuri, Citizen Live at 1.